When a new model of a shoe comes out, generally one of three things can happen. Well, no, actually one of three things will happen. Number one, it either improves. Number two, it stays the same and you're left wondering why they bothered releasing a new version of the shoe. Or number three, and the case here, the shoe goes backwards. This is the Nike Infinity React Flyknit 3, and I'm going to tell you why you should probably save your money, and if you must buy this version of a shoe, buy the second version instead. Let's get into it. What I find strange about this shoe is that it is an odd model number update. And with Nike running shoes, what that generally means is that the shoe has received a major update. There are no major updates here. And in fact, a lot of the specs and core technologies are very close to the second version of the shoe. You are still getting a neutral daily trainer that does lean toward being a comfort or max cushioned focused shoe with a Flyknit upper sitting on top of a React midsole. There is 34mm stack in the heel, 26mm in the forefoot, giving an 8mm drop. It is a true to sizer with a caveat and comes in at an incredibly hefty 297 grams for a US men's size 9 or 10.5 ounces if you prefer that measurement. What is really interesting about that last stat, which is the weight, is that it is considerably more heavier than the second version. Not only the second version, it's heavier than the first version of the Infinity React and heavier again on the shoe that I think this replaced in Nike's lineup, the Epic React. My US Men's 13 Infinity React 3 comes in at a whopping 382 grams. Comparing that to the second version of the Infinity React, which comes in at 353 grams, the third version is nearly 30 grams heavier. And just because I can, we'll take a look at my US Men's 13 Infinity React 1 that is lighter still at 344 grams. Now, just before, I did say that these shoes kind of replaced the Epic React, and just because I've got that shoe as well, if we take a look at how much that shoe weighed, we see just how much lighter that shoe was. My US Men's 13 comes in at 290 grams. So overall, it is nearly 100 grams heavier than the Epic React. Some may argue that it's an unfair comparison, but I do honestly think that those two shoes are very similar in terms of the problem that they're trying to solve and where they're positioned within Nike's catalog. Enough about those shoes, and bringing the attention back to the Infinity React 3, I think the issues with this shoe is that they've made changes to the shoe that have resulted in a worse feeling in just about every way, almost every way anyway. Well, number one was the whole true to size comment. I did say it fits true to size, but with a caveat. One of the genuine upgrades I think they made to the Infinity React 3 was the increased use of Flyknit in the upper. That Flyknit feels really good on foot and it's a lovely material. But this shoe runs shorter than I found the Infinity React 2 to run, and it is a lot more uncomfortable for me to run in. I feel that there is less room in the toe box in general, and my toe kind of like butts up against the tip of the shoe. Not really pleasant to run in. Not a huge deal for general use, especially if you're just walking around or using it casually, but definitely for running, I found it to be really uncomfortable. The tongue itself is still nicely padded and is semi-attached. I really like the fact that they haven't reverted back to going to a full booty construction. It's kind of a half booty, you know, halfway up the eye stay it would be called a booty, and then just, let's say, the top half of the tongue is detached from the upper of the shoe, giving a little bit more flexibility to get the right lockdown. The big change that came into the Infinity React 2 over the first version also was the padding around the tongue along with the heel area. The second change I can't quite understand, especially for a shoe that's focused on comfort, is the reduction in padding around the heel area. They seem to have stripped some of that padding away, while the tongue itself feels roughly the same and still feels just as nice as the second version did, although without the ripping issue that I think some people experienced. The heel's padding seems to have reduced, and while I don't think that is a huge issue, it's not incredibly noticeable while running. I don't think that there is insufficient padding around the heel area. It seems to be at odds with the weight of the shoe. They've replaced whatever mesh was used in other parts of the second version with more Flyknit. They've dropped the padding around the heel, and yet somehow the shoe weighs 30 grams more. This could be because of a different composition with the midsole, but it feels exactly the same as the second version. And while we're talking about the way the midsole does feel, if you're unfamiliar with the way full React shoes tend to run, what I do find them to provide is a really good platform for general purpose running, a little bit of everything. It's comfortable enough to use over long distances, but also lets you get on your toes a little bit. The issue with this version is that it is just so heavy. It's heavier than I think it's heavier than every one of my other max cushion running shoes in my rotation at the moment. Doesn't have all the padding of a max cushion shoe, and doesn't even have the same amount of padding as the second version. It kind of leaves me wondering, what's the point of carrying all that weight in a daily trainer if you need comfort? Why not go for a max cushion running shoe? They are generally going to weigh less than what this weighs and offer even more plushness. If for some reason the Infinity React shoe appeals to you, either because of how it feels on foot or because of how it rides, I would just say buy another second version of the shoe and don't waste your time on this third version. I think that the changes to the shoe have actually sent it backwards, and the second version is a better overall package than what this is. It's a shame because I paid for it. But anyway, them's the breaks. I'm really interested to know what you guys think if you are running in the Infinity React 3 and completely disagree with any of my comments. If you are enjoying it, let me know in the comments below. Until the next video, laters.